You don't need a mansion or a Hollywood name to leave behind a story that's more than just fame.
Me to need a will, just a family, or a cat plotting world domination. Welcome to Celebrity Estate Chaos, where we prove a lot of things. Like how estate chaos isn't just for millionaires with private islands, anyone with stuff, relatives, or that one weird collection you think nobody's fighting over. And chances are, they will.
We spend so much time worrying about digital theft. Is my credit card safe? Is my identity secure? But what happens when hackers stop stealing your data and instead they start crashing power grids? That's the kind of terrifying question we're diving into today. Nuclear war. It used to mean bombs, mushroom clouds, right? But in our world now, so interconnected, it might actually look more like bots. We're going to explore what a truly digital physical crisis entails and, honestly, how it could shatter your everyday life.
Yeah, and our mission for this deep dive is, well, it's incredibly important. We're going to unpack the uncomfortable truth of these cyber-nuclear events. But crucially, more than just the scare factor, we're providing you with actionable steps, things you and your family can actually do to prepare. Our goal here is to ensure you have the understanding and maybe even the peace of mind to act decisively, even when things get chaotic.
Okay, so let's really dig into this then. Cyber warfare. It's gone way beyond simple data breaches now. It can target critical infrastructure, seriously critical stuff. We're talking about the ability to disable early warning systems or spoof missile alerts or even shut down nuclear reactors remotely. And here's the part that's, well, truly unsettling. Some of these vital systems, they're still running on code from the 1970s.
Yeah, the 70s. It's almost unbelievable. What's fascinating and frankly quite alarming here is the core fear that everyone understands, governments, hackers, everyone. If you take out a country's tech infrastructure, you fundamentally weaken its ability to defend itself, full stop. But the immediate impact isn't just on nations or armies, it's on families, yours, mine, everyone's. You might never see a missile, but you'll absolutely feel the power go out. Your phone's silent. And that sheer panic, it'll spread faster than any viral video.
Right. And then there's the other layer you mentioned.
The EMP.
Yeah.
As if that wasn't enough, we also have the EMP threat, an electromagnetic pulse. This could literally fry all electronics. Just poof. Think about it.
Yeah.
Your smart fridge, your electric car, GPS, digital banking, even your smartwatch. Suddenly, they're all just expensive, completely useless paperweights.
Wow. That's a truly chilling scenario, the idea of all our tech just dying instantly, which naturally brings us to the crucial question of, well, how do people react in a crisis like that? When facing something so overwhelming, the common reaction is just instant panic, isn't it? It's screaming. It's people desperately trying to Google solutions. But the internet's gone, so they're suddenly terrifyingly cut off.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes incredibly clear why just hoping for the best. Well, hope is not a strategy. A well-made plan is about so much more than just having some food and flashlights stashed away. It's truly about keeping your head when it feels like the rest of the world is losing its mind. A plan can prevent that initial fear from spiraling into absolute chaos. It makes sure everyone knows where to go, what to do. Simple things, but vital. It buys you precious time when every single decision matters most. And critically, it helps you focus on survival, on the next right step.
Right, instead of just making frantic phone calls that aren't going anywhere.
Exactly. Calls that simply don't connect. If 2020 taught us anything, it's this. The people who had thought things through beforehand, they were the ones in a blind panic. They had a starting point.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But if contemplating all of this feels overwhelming, and I imagine for many listening, it does, let me tell you, you absolutely don't need to plan it all out at once. You really don't. Start small. The very first step is surprisingly simple and genuinely approachable. Just have one dinner conversation with your family this week. Just one chat. You could ask something like, okay, guys, if we lost power, phones, and internet, what would we actually do? Or maybe if everything shuts down, power, phones, internet, how would we find each other if we got separated?
Yeah, and that simple conversation, it's incredibly powerful. It shifts the abstract fear into a concrete problem your brain can actually work on.
Yeah.
Makes it manageable. When you talk it out calmly, over dinner,
yeah,
your brain naturally starts to fill in the blanks. That vague anxiety, it starts turning into practical problem solving. That's how it unlocks so much planning. You'll start making key decisions almost organically. Like, okay, where's our designated meetup spot if we can't call each other? Let's pick one. Or we need to write down emergency contact info on actual paper because your phone contacts.
Yeah.
Useless. and deciding who's in charge of grabbing the pets or essential medications or even, specific supplies like granola bars for the kids.
Little things that suddenly become huge things.
Exactly. This small act, this one conversation, it can dramatically reduce panic if chaos hits. It empowers your family with clarity, with calm, with a sense of readiness they'll desperately need.
So if we're looking for that crucial first step into, let's say, tangible preparedness, beyond just the talk, what would you say is the most impactful thing someone can do right now to get started? I'm talking about something that, doesn't require building a bunker in the backyard or getting lost in some massive 100-item prepper list.
Absolutely. Let's keep it simple but effective. Think of it as your basic go bag, or maybe a crisis starter kit. There are 4 essential items, just 4. And these 4 compact, pretty affordable items alone can dramatically change your odds. Honestly, having just these makes you more ready than probably 90% of the population. And they're chosen very specifically because they tackle the 4 most immediate, life-threatening challenges if the grid goes down hard. We're talking communication, hydration, air quality, and just basic functional independence in a total digital blackout.
Okay, 4 items. Let's hear them.
First, you need a hand crank radio. Ideally one with an NOAA weather alert system built in. Why? Because this might literally be the only voice you hear for days, your only reliable news source when everything else, TV, internet, phones, is dead silent. It's your lifeline to what's happening.
Makes sense. Okay, number 2.
Second, water purification tablets, or a good water filter straw, like a Life straw or something similar, clean water. It might be the very first essential service to go in any major disruption. And it's absolutely critical for survival. You can last, maybe 3 weeks without food, but only about 3 days without water. It's non-negotiable.
Got it. Water covered. Third,
N95 masks, good quality ones. These are crucial for protecting your lungs. Could be from smoke from fires, could be dust from collapsed structures, or even, depending on the nightmare scenario, radiation particles. Environmental threats, the air you breathe, can be just as deadly as any direct attack.
Right. Clean air, clean water. Essential. Yeah. Okay, and the last one, number 4.
And finally, number 4 is kind of a bundle. Analog backups. This means physical cash. Small bills, preferably. Digital banking, probably down. ATMs, probably dead. A printed map of your local area, maybe even laminated. Your phone's GPS, useless without power and signal. Written emergency contacts, phone numbers, addresses on paper, and copies of your essential ID, like your driver's license or passport. Because all those digital files on your phone or computer, worthless when the grid is gone. Your smartwatch, like we said, it won't help you navigate or pay. I tried to pay for coffee with my smartwatch once when the cafe's Wi-Fi was down. Total fail. It was a humbling reminder of how dependent we are. So these 4 things, radio, water filter, masks, analog backups, they ensure you have the absolute fundamentals covered when the digital world just vanishes.
That's a remarkably practical list. Yeah, those 4 items really do feel like a game changer for just basic survival, getting through those first critical hours or days. But, okay, let's say someone listens, they have the family chat, they get that basic go bag sorted. What's next? What are some of the next level, maybe low-tech steps listeners can take before chaos starts to really build more of a buffer?
Right, exactly. A buffer, not necessarily a fortress. We're talking about building resilience with smart, low-tech backup systems. It's about adding layers. So for offline communication and info, beyond just the written list, consider a family communication board, like maybe a whiteboard or even just a designated spot inside a kitchen cabinet door. Tape printed instructions and contacts there. Everyone knows where to look. And offline backups, get an external hard drive, put copies of really important digital files on it, and then disconnect it from the internet. Keep it safe.
Okay, that makes sense. What about protecting electronics? You mentioned EMPs.
Yeah, for electronics protection, you can get a small Faraday container. It's basically a metal box designed to block electromagnetic fields. Or even a simple, sturdy metal tin, like an ammo can if you seal it right, could potentially shield a few critical small electronics. Think maybe that hand crank radio or a flash drive with important documents.
And for just surviving at home during a long blackout.
Right, for blackouts and basic shelter in place.
Yeah.
Put together a dedicated blackout box, fill it with candles, flashlights, lots of extra batteries, matches or lighters, maybe some basic manual tools, pliers, screwdriver, definitely a manual can opener. I remember during one long blackout years ago, realizing my electric can opener was useless. Had to borrow a manual one from a neighbor. Lesson learned. And definitely include some emergency food in that box stuff that doesn't need cooking or refrigeration. Also think about indoor air quality if you have to seal up your home. Maybe have some HEPA filters, that's high-efficiency particulate air filters ready, along with plastic sheeting and duct tape for sealing windows and doors if the outside air becomes hazardous.
Sealing windows. That's serious, but potentially vital.
It could be. And then a simple home shelter area. Could just be a corner of the basement or an interior room like a closet or bathroom away from windows. Stock it with some basics. Blankets, first aid kit, maybe some water bottles. And don't forget sanitation. Even a simple bucket toilet kit can make a huge difference for hygiene and morale. And yeah, like you said earlier, don't underestimate the power of analog tools, that manual can opener, maybe some basic hand tools, and even things like board games or playing cards. Seriously, Monopoly or Uno can absolutely become essential survival gear when all the screens are dark and you need to keep morale up, especially with kids.
Board games as survival gear, I like that.
Look, the goal isn't to build a doomsday bunker overnight. It's about building that buffer, making small, smart steps today that protect your peace of mind and build real flexibility, real options for tomorrow. It's about reducing fear by taking action.
So wrapping this up then, what's the biggest takeaway, the final thought for our listeners from all this?
Well, I think this raises an important question, maybe the most important one. You really can't predict what the next big crisis will look like. Will it be missiles, a massive cyber attack, a grid meltdown from a solar flare? Who knows? But you absolutely can prepare for the effects of that crisis. The power out, communications down, services disrupted. Don't wait until you become the headline. Don't wait until you're left guessing in the dark, literally when every digital tool you rely on fails you.
Exactly. That's the key. When the Wi-Fi dies and the panic starts spreading, it's the calm, collected families, the ones who had that conversation, who put together that basic kit, who thought ahead just a little bit, they're the ones who stay safer and adapt better. And look, if you're ready to get serious about preparing, but maybe with a side of practical, no-nonsense, sometimes even humorous advice, I highly recommend exploring author Tina Jin's full library of emergency preparedness books. She has titles like Prepared for Anything, First Aid, which is great. It's for your pets, your furry family. Also, Oops Proof, Emergency, Not on My Watch, Stop, Drop, and Roll Your Eyes, which tells you a bit about her style, and Too Late to Panic. Lots of great actionable stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the bottom line is, chaos doesn't come with an instruction manual, but we can certainly help you write your own.
That's a wrap for today's chaos. If you learned something, laughed a little, or now feel slightly more prepared for life's curveballs, we've done our job. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. Catch us on Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere podcasts make you rethink your to-do list. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, if it's important and unexpected, we probably cover it. Stay safe, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.